The, the pills that my trainer was taking are legal. Her doctor prescribed them. I believe that she was getting prescriptions in other people's names, though, also, because I was with her when she went to these pharmacies, and the prescriptions that I saw in the trash cans didn't have her name on the bottle sometimes. The other problem was she would get a prescription, and then 2 days later the bottle would be empty, even though she just got it filled. She had enormous medical problems. We had to stop every 3 hours for her to go to the bathroom. We had to stop at the first fuel bay because she couldn't walk any further than that. We would stop at motels. She would hand me a key to a motel room and say, and this would be right after she filled a prescription, here's a key to a room, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm trying to get my training done. I don't want to sit in a motel room by myself. I want to work. I didn't really understand. She had told me she'd been on medical leave before, and that it was rather serious, and that she had to be flown home. And a very young girl, 29 years old, who to me was so ill. My own mother is not that ill, and she's 70. And then she just seemed depressed and she just didn't give me the impression she wanted to get better. All of her behaviors. Towards the end, with the stopping and trying to pick up on guys at every single stop, and sometimes I got the impression maybe she was stalking the ex-boyfriend a little bit, trying to find out where he was. The behavior started to get more intense, where I knew her pattern of having to stop for the bathroom, but she was not getting up on schedule anymore. It was kind of worrying me that she was going to die, especially after I found a bottle of pills in the trash can that had just been filled, and it had a lot of pills, and they were all gone. At that point, somebody else in my company did witness her, and they did report it to safety, and she wasn't brought in. After my story was told, this girl turned up, and she's on the internet. She says all kinds of crap about me. She made a lot of racist remarks about Mexicans. I didn't tell her I was Mexican. She was like, "Why didn't you tell me you were Mexican?" I'm like, "Because I just want to hear what you had to say about them." And it was basically all ignorant things that she had to say about Mexicans. The pill issue is this. Yes, the pills are legal. The doctor prescribed them, but it says on the pill bottle you should not operate machinery on this kind of pill. On one pill, not 10 or 15 or 20. It impairs your judgment. And that might be why she was trying to make me speed around those curves. And that might be why she was trying to scream at me and tell me to go faster in residential areas when there was children and dogs playing. That might be some of the other poor judgment that she showed. I don't know for sure. All I know is I did what I was supposed to do to learn what I had to do, but I wasn't really learning either. She would stand in front of the truck and she would go like this and like this for me to back in, but I would say, "What am I going to do when you're gone? How am I going to back it up then? I don't really understand what I'm doing here." I had to finally tell her at one point, you may have been driving a big rig for 3 years, but I have been a licensed driver since, you were watching the Smurfs, basically. And it's never okay to tailgate people. And it's never okay to speed in a residential area, especially in a vehicle this size. It was her plan to dump me off at a truck stop and not get me back to the terminal. I called up, and I had to call up several times to get somebody on the phone to tell them she was going to dump me at a truck stop or wherever, because she wanted to go home and get her next prescription filled. She didn't fill out my checklist, which was required. She didn't want to take me into the terminal. She just was being very irresponsible about it. I finally was able to get somebody to push her to bring me back to the terminal. And then they assigned me a second trainer. The second trainer didn't show up. Now let me say that I was given the option to test out at that time because they said, you have been out there long enough. I was 2 segments short to test out and go into my next phase of training. I was the one that said, no, I want a second trainer because I don't feel like I learned what I need to know to go out on my own now or to be in a team. I'm not going to be a very good other half of a team based on what I've learned so far. So it was my decision to go take a second trainer. So they assigned me to a second trainer. That guy never showed up. I waited for, I think, 5 days. And then the person that put it in, he said, what are you still doing here? I said, I'm still waiting. The guy never contacted me, nothing. So he put it in, and then a third guy came. And that guy I stayed with for a week. He was East Indian. He was East Indian, but he grew up in Guyana. His parents were indentured servants. He's married to a Puerto Rican, and he likes country western music. He's a real character. He's very nice. He did the best that he could do. I only needed a couple segments. They gave him these crappy loads, like 50 miles here, 60, 100. I felt like they were really just jerking this dude around. I have seen him a couple times since, and I just give him a hug every time I see him because without him to get me through that rough spot, but he basically just put me on the fast track for 7 days so that I could test out. And so my training was not the best, and that made me not the best. And my journey as going into the team driving, I did not have all the tools that I needed to be successful. And the whole thing was a learning experience that I just had to just keep trying, gather information from whoever would give it to me, and document things as it happened. So if people tried to twist it around, I would have my documentation say, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened, and I can prove it. And that's what you need to do.